Hello and welcome to ELT Under the Covers Teaching Methodology Exposed. In this video, we are going to be looking at a teaching methodology by the name of Total Physical Response, TPR. But first, introductions. I'm Neil of Team Teacher.
Hello everybody, it's Professor Rich.
Okay, Rich, TPR. Probably something that you've never used, right?
Well, tangentially, I think. This is another one of those things, isn't it, where, someone will do a classroom activity which involves standing up for 2 minutes and suddenly it's TPR. And that's not really TPR, is it? That's like pseudo TPR influence. It's not even related to TPR at the end of the day. It's just simply getting physical in the classroom. And I think TPR goes a little bit beyond that, doesn't it? It's not just standing up and doing something. There's a bit more to the actual understanding of TPR than that.
Yeah, there's literally a method to the madness. So let's go a little bit deeper and have a introduction, an overview to TPR. Total Physical Response, TPR, is a language teaching methodology developed by James Asher, a psychology professor. It is a methodology based on the coordination of language with physical movement. Basically, in TPR, instructors demonstrate the new target language both verbally and physically, then give commands to the students in the target language with body movements, and the students respond with whole body actions. It's an example of the comprehensive approach to language teaching. The listening and responding with actions serves two purposes. It's a means of quickly recognizing meaning in the language being learned, and a means of passively learning the structure of the language itself. Total physical response is often used alongside other methodologies and techniques. It is popular with beginners and with young learners, although it can be used with students from all levels and all age groups.
So what we have there is the coordination of physical motion with some sort of target language.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the TPR that I've always tended to see has been fairly sort of simplistic stuff like swimming, just sort of saying a word and doing an action. And I kind of feel like there must be a better way, a more kind of a more in-depth way of doing that, because, we know I don't like individual words. I'm not a big fan of individual words. I think they have a place. I mean, to get a phrase, you have to have some individual words, but I really like to teach phrases. I think that people are naturally able to adapt phrases pretty well. And I don't think there's any disadvantage of teaching a phrase, because it's much easier to break down a phrase into words than it is to build up a phrase from individual words, in my experience. So I'm kind of hoping that when we have a look at the example now, that we're going to see some spicy stuff. Is this another video from like 1962?
Yeah, we're going back in time, baby.
We're going to learn about cleaning the house, something I'm sure that everybody loves to do. We all need to clean the house. Maybe not everybody loves to do it, but it is something we need to do.
Good clarification.
And in order to clean the house, we need a brush. Yep, we need a brush.
I'm making notes with this.
We need a sponge.
No,
Okay.
don't need that.
I'm never particularly that keen on when it's kind of a little bit ambiguous as to whether everyone should be sort of saying it or not. So you kind of get like this half-hearted, like two students kind of go, a brush, a sponge, It's almost like she hasn't decided herself.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to be, showing things individually, you really should be kind of doing just a quick drill at least. Otherwise, this is wasted time. This should just all be set out, right?
Yeah, you might as well do a what's this, and then someone says it, then that's right, everyone. Okay, next. you know, and with clear instructions. Everyone knows what that means. You wave your arms, you say everyone. They do a little repeat.
Yeah.
But okay, she's just getting through this bit, isn't she?
We need a dust cloth.
Now she's presenting and not even. She's like, I've had enough of this elicitation stuff.
We need a vacuum cleaner, right? And
Wait, hold on. Is this even
we
realia?
need a broom. Okay.
It's just the
Oh,
end of
she's
a
got
vacuum
the
cleaner.
end.
Yeah.
It could be a bit dodgy. Yeah.
Could I have someone come up here to the front and be a volunteer? Thank you very much, Hassan.
Yeah, you'd probably just be best off just mining a vacuum cleaner rather than actually having that thing.
Making the noise as well.
Because that actually makes it more difficult to mine the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Mime the vacuum cleaner.
And it's, you know, there might be, I was going to say that there's different types of vacuum cleaners, but, you know, there's with certain words that, you know, they can have different representations of what they actually are in, you know, the students' minds. So, you know, I think that the action is more important with this lesson. So, you know, I would have done the mime, but if the actual item was important, you know, it would be better to actually have the full realia or a picture or, you know, a few different pictures if it's something that can be confused.
Yeah.
Okay, Hassan, I'd like you to point to the vacuum cleaner. Okay, could you point to the sponge? Okay, could you point to the brush? Okay, could you point to the broom? That's right, could you point to the dust cloth? Okay, could you point to the broom? Okay, point to the vacuum cleaner. Okay, point to the sponge. Okay, point to the brush. Point to the vacuum cleaner. Point to the broom. Point to the dust cloth. Okay, good, thank you. Could you sit down? Okay, so I'd like the whole class to do that. Point to the dust cloth. Okay, point to the brush. Okay, point to the dust cloth. Okay, don't point to the brush. Okay, could you point to the vacuum cleaner, the broom, and then the dust cloth? Okay, could you point to the sponge, the vacuum cleaner, and then the brush?
Okay, so we actually got a demo. Wow, it's not too often we get to see those, is it? We got a demo, right? an effective demo
from the student, and not just from the teacher as well.
That's right. Yeah, we got a demo from the student, and now we're going into quite a nice group activity. Actually, I quite like this. I think if you're going to do something
a bit different,
yeah, if you're going to do something with like 25 students at once, then this is a decent way of doing it. You can relatively see if they're pointing at the right thing, and at the end of the day, they're going to be correcting that themselves mainly because they'll see what other people are pointing at. It puts a little bit of pressure on the people at the front because, you know, we can all see what they're pointing at.
And it would have tied in nicely if she'd have done those drills at the beginning where they go, sponge, vacuum cleaner, platypus, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you could even have something like point to the brush. That's the brush, everyone says. You know, in nice natural English as well. Yeah. Not like that is the brush, but, you know, that's the brush. That's the vacuum cleaner. And then you've got this nice, that's the thing going on.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay. We're revolutionizing TPR already.
Okay, very good. Now, we're going to use the sponge to wipe the counter. Okay, now, we visited a house the other day, do you remember? And we saw here was the sink. This is the sink, and here was, this area was the counter.
Everything but
and
the
we
chicken
use
sink.
the sponge to wipe the counter. Okay, so let's try this together. Watch me. I'm sweeping the floor. I'm vacuuming the rug. Okay, I'm scrubbing the sink. I'm wiping the counter. and I'm dusting the bookshelves, okay? So let's just try the actions. Okay, could someone come up here and do the actions with me? Okay, Gideon, thank you. Okay, we don't need to use these. We can just pretend. Okay, we're going to sweep the kitchen floor. Sweep, right, okay? And then what will we do next? We'll wipe off the counter, okay? And then we're going to scrub the kitchen sink, okay? And then we're going to go into the living room and we're going to vacuum the rug. And then we're going to dust the bookshelves. Okay, so I'm just going to say something. We'll do it together. Dust the bookshelves. Okay, vacuum the rug. Okay, sweep the floor. Scrub the sink. Okay, wipe the counter. Okay, and did we forget one? Dust the bookshelves again. Okay, thank you very much. Could you sit down? Okay, now, everyone will do it together. How about if everybody stands up? Okay. So let's first vacuum the rug. Okay, dust the bookshelves. Okay, wipe the counter. Scrub the sink. Okay, and sweep the floor. Okay, good. Now, sweep the floor, then vacuum the rug. That's right. So we sweep the floor, and then we vacuum the rug. Okay, dust the bookshelf, then wipe the counter. Okay, so we dusted the bookshelf, and then we wiped the counter. Okay, scrub the sink, and then wipe the counter. Okay, so we scrub the sink, and then we wipe the counter. Okay, let's go into the living room, and we'll, thank you. Dust the bookshelves and vacuum the rug. Oh, good. You're very good house cleaners. That's great. Okay.
Let's pause this for a sec.
Why don't we sit down?
So she went through at the beginning of the class. She went through and she took out the items and she named all the items. And I think it's really relevant that we have to point out that she did mention that yesterday or a previous day, they went and visited a house. So I'm presuming at that point that they went over vocabulary of different rooms and all these other items that she's connected to the new vocabulary that she's introduced, like a vacuum cleaner, duster, sponge, what have you. Because if this was all new, she would have had to introduce that as well. And I actually think it would have been I've done stuff like this before, and what I found is if you can have the realia of the new stuff and then some like pictures of the different you can draw a layout on the board of different rooms, and you can have pictures of all the other items that are going to be interacting with the ones that you bring in. Then you can they can better visualize, you can kind of mix them and match it up, and you can do kind of thing. I like to do, when I'm doing this sort of stuff, I like to do the serious sentences, like vacuum the rug, and have that in, and then you can show the vacuum, and you can show you kind of doing that physically on that particular picture card or drawing on the board. But then I like to introduce kind of like twists, and make it funny. So I'll have them like vacuum the bookcase or something like that, because you kind of remember that because it's so strange and so bizarre. You wouldn't do that. So it allows them to, and then I would probably, if this was China, I'd probably have certain groups of kids come up and have them do one funny, one serious. So, they might dust the sink, and then I might say, okay, now give me a not funny one, a serious one. And, and kind of get them to mix and match it up. But I do like how, one thing I really wanted to point out, I do like how she puts it kind of in like a narrative, because she's like walking through the house, like she's walking through the house and thinking what to clean. She's going from the kitchen to the living room, and then it's kind of connected in like, well, what do we do in the living room? Oh, we do this and this together. I thought that was smart.
Mm.
And
Yeah, the narrative thing was nice, and I am still kind of enjoying to some extent the activity in general. This is similar to what I've actually done in TPR before, however, not with so many kind of phrases. As I've said, I think I've seen TPR before as just like sports, and it's just like doing different sports.
Yeah.
You know? So I am kind of enthusiastically interested to see where this is going to go next.
Very good house cleaners. That's great. Okay. Why don't we sit down? Now, let's have, let's see. Enda, tell Gideon to scrub the sink. Okay, thank you. Gideon, tell Jesus to vacuum the rug. Okay. Jesus, tell Alphonse to wipe the counter.
Wipe the counter.
Okay. Alphonse, tell Abderrahmane to vacuum the rug.
Vacuum the rug.
Now, the next thing we have to do is I'm going to ask you to scrub the sink, scrub the sink, scrub the sink. Okay, now, we're going to scrub the sink quickly. Okay, now, scrub the sink carefully.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Carefully, carefully. Okay? Wipe the counter quickly. Okay, wipe the counter carefully. Okay. Sweep the floor carefully. Now sweep it quickly. Okay. Vacuum the rug quickly. Okay. Now vacuum it carefully. Carefully. Okay. Let's see. Scrub the sink quickly and then vacuum the floor carefully. Oh, good. Okay. Now, dust the bookshelves carefully and then vacuum the floor quickly. Okay. Vacuum the rug carefully, dust the bookshelf quickly, and then run into the kitchen and sweep the floor quickly. Uh-oh. Some people are dusting the floor. Some people are dusting the bookshelf carefully, and some are dusting it quickly. Vacuum the rug carefully, and then dust the bookshelf quickly. Okay, good job. Thank you. Okay, no, wait, don't sit down. Let's go into the kitchen now and scrub the sink quickly, wipe the counter carefully, and then sweep the floor carefully. Good job. Thank you very much. Please sit down. Sonia, wipe the counter carefully. Keep wiping. Yudi, while Sonia is wiping the counter, sweep the floor carefully and scrub the sink quickly. Okay. Now tell Sonia to stop wiping the counter.
Stop wiping.
Okay, good. Let's see. Anna Greta, tell Siti to dust the bookshelves quickly.
Dust the bookshelves quickly.
Okay. Edwin, while Siti is dusting the bookshelves, vacuum the rug carefully. Okay. Said, tell Edwin to stop vacuuming the rug.
Stop vacuuming.
Okay. Tell Siti to stop dusting the bookshelves.
Stop dusting.
Let's ask some questions. Who likes to clean the house? Raise your hand. Aha. Hassan likes to clean the house. Maria likes to clean the house. Only 2 people? Okay. Maria and Hassan like to clean the house. Okay. Point, who doesn't like to clean the house? Okay. Who doesn't like to clean the house? Raise your hand. Okay. You don't like to clean the house. You don't like to.
So, with the at the risk of contradicting myself in our previous video, I do feel like we're getting a little bit teacher-centric at this stage.
Yeah, I
There's
think
so
this is
many
pretty much it.
There's so many interesting things that she's doing there, and I just think it'd be really nice to hand it off to the students and have them do it with each other.
Yeah, I
You know,
totally agree.
think of 3 tasks. Make sure you decide slowly or quickly, and give it to the other person to do. Simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah. What I would do was, I think at a point during this, I would have them kind of like write down, or I'd have a sheet of all the different activities and locations and stuff like that, that, you know, like a numbered or something like that, and they can kind of jot down quickly like a number order, because, you know, it can be a bit difficult to start to remember all the order that you said, and then get the other student to, you know, like do the actions, do the TPR, and then you can check your number order and stuff like that. Do that for a little bit, you know, take turns and try and catch each other out, that sort of thing. Go fast, go slow, careful, quickly, all that jazz. And then, you know, I would probably start introducing more and ways of trying to get the students to speak, because that was one of the things that I always had qualms with just doing TPR solely as a method. It felt like it was very much just physical action. So
It's very receptive.
I would have them maybe have like a sheet with all the pictures and all that stuff on, that they can point to, or flashcards that they can show to each other, and then say, what are you doing, or something like that, and show the card, and have the other person, oh, I'm vacuuming the rug, or something like that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's
You know,
normal,
that sort of thing. And then, or put them in groups of 3s, and, you know, one person would be like blocked off, and they would show different things to do. The other person had to do that action, and the person that's showing asked the other person, what is he doing? And then you got third person there, and you kind of mix and match these sort of activities, and you can build from that. And I like the way that she's going here, you know, simple structures even that they've probably used a lot before, like I like, I don't like. I like to vacuum. I don't like to, you know, dust the bookcase, or what have you. Just ways for them to start to speak, and then, you know, or they could even come up with their own story. You could do ordinal, you know, forgot it off the top of my head, you know, organizing words, and be like, oh, when I clean the house, first I blah blah blah, second I, and they tell each other stories. And this sort of thing, and then
so basically
really hand it over.
There's lots of really cool stuff you could do as an expansion.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we're going to get to see it, unfortunately.
No.
Now, should we flick through the final bits of it?
Yeah, let's see how she wraps this up.
Yeah, okay.
To clean the house. You don't like to clean the house. You don't like to clean that. You don't like. Hassan, you don't like to clean the house. Okay. I like to clean the house. No, it's relaxing, you know. Okay, I like to clean the house. Who likes to clean the house? Raise your hand. Maria, oh, you like to clean. Does it like to clean the house? Like Yudi, Jesus, Horacio, Hassan,
I'm making notes.
Maria, and we all like to clean the house. Okay, good. So,
where's she going with this? I hope this is going somewhere, because that's the kind of question that would be like right at the start of the class. You know, hey everyone, who likes to clean the house? Hands up. Who doesn't like to clean it? Right. Okay. Well, we're talking about that today, actually. Oh, I mean, what's going on?
We'll see. We'll see.
One who likes to clean the house. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Point to someone. Point to someone who doesn't like to clean the house. So this is some of the vocabulary that we learned today. Scrub the sink with a brush.
Yeah, I didn't get that little like the house thing. I mean, unless she's teaching the language of like and dislike, but then it just seems tangentially connected, really.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe it's her form of comedy, just kind of like a quick transition to whatever she's doing right here.
It should have been at the start.
We'll stay in the kitchen. Wipe the counter. With a sponge. Okay. Do you have any questions about any of these words?
Why do you use dust cloth?
Dust cloth?
Yeah, like that.
This is a dust cloth instead of a
Toilet, or yeah, it's not like a small toilet.
okay, a dust cloth. Okay, we also have a duster, something that looks with.
She's talking about the toilet.
Feathers.
Maybe she means to clean
Okay,
the
we have a
toilet with
duster,
a
but
toilet
it's
brush.
very hard to find dusters now.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to find dusters. So usually we just use a dust cloth. Okay.
She was talking about feather duster and dust
Okay.
cloth.
Then here's your
Yeah.
homework.
But I think you're
But she
right.
mentioned toilet,
I think the student
Yeah.
was talking about
I
toilet
have
brush.
all of the
possible.
vocabulary we learned today on these sheets of paper, and I would like you to study it, and then in our next lesson, we will practice giving each other the commands, okay, telling each other to do these things, okay? So we'll pass the homework out. You take it.
Just do it in this class.
Thank you very much.
I guess they were short on time or something like that.
Well, we got the presentation and the practice, didn't we? We didn't get the production, unfortunately, but I suppose we can imagine it, and we did talk about some possibilities.
Yeah.
And I think overall, I think that was a pretty good lesson, or it was a.
It could have been a lot tighter,
was
let's
okay.
say.
Yeah, it could have been tighter, but it wasn't rubbish, and we've seen lots of rubbish
Yeah,
ones.
we have definitely.
So I think it does give a fairly decent demonstration of the basics of TPR.
Yeah.
And
that is the aim of this
be-
video.
Right, exactly. It might be enough for someone to take that and dive into it a bit more. I mean, if I had access to a physical group class at the moment, then I would be tempted actually to do something with that and think, how can you make this really, how can you take it up to really the next level, because I think there's some next level things you could do with this. I'd have to think about it, but I think you could start thinking a little bit metaphorically with it, because
Okay, kids, let's
a little bit
do karate katas.
sort of. The point is, the thing about it is, the thing that I thought was kind of cool about it is that it's the cognitive challenge combined with the novel action. So, no one normally does this. I mean, this isn't how you wipe a surface with a cloth, is it?
Yeah.
But you kind of know what it represents. But then you're doing that. But then you also have to think a lot, especially when she was like, do this quickly and then do this slowly. And then, do this with your pants around your ankles in the basement or something, But the point was that she was like saying these three things. And even me, I was, as a native speaker, I was there like, well, what the hell? What did she just say? So it's obviously challenging linguistically and cognitively. And then you kind of do this, you kind of like, oh shit, which of the actions do I have to do? Is it this one or this one or this one? So there's something about that which is quite nice and interesting. And, I do wonder how it could be interestingly applied to even sort of other things. It reminds me a little bit of a drama game that I once saw someone do. I was teaching I was teaching pantomime with a guy who actually owns his own little theater, and he'd come in for a couple of weeks to help out the summer school. And he was getting the kids warmed up with some drama games. He did this excellent thing where everyone's just sort of walking around finding space, and then he'd like shout out these commands and they'd have to do stuff, and it was, you know, stuff like wizard, and then they pretend to be Gandalf, and then, you know, it would be like stop, or it would be vampire or whatever, and they have to do whatever and keep walking around. Then they'd be like faster, 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 and then slower, 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 and then jump and then duck, and, you know, all this stuff, and it all come together. And that actually was TPR. The thing is, he would normally use that with native speakers in kind of that drama environment just to get people going and stuff. But it's actually ideal language learning TPR. And the thing about it is the kids loved it. It's an enjoyable, fun thing. People start laughing a lot, getting up, moving around. And that's part of what TPR is all about, isn't it? It's that kind of, right, we're going to get some physical engagement. It's actually the part of TPR that everyone thinks that's what TPR is. Oh, TPR is when you get people to stand up and do something for 2 minutes. No, it's a bit more than that. But that is a critical element of it, that you have that kind of novel physical interaction combined with these other elements.
Yeah. To add on to your point, first, you know, the physical action, and also having to think about the new language, even produce the new language, I think is one of the most important parts of TPR. I think it's the Simon Says hypothesis of you having to do two things at the same time is cognitively taxing, and the more that you do that and more that you practice that, the more that it becomes an automatic response, and it kind of feels like there's a deeper learning. With when I taught direct method, that's one of the things that I actually thought was a real benefit from the direct method, because you are asking these questions like, what is it, like, what is it? What is it? What is it? It's and they've got no time to think of a response. They have to just produce a response. And yes, in the beginning, it's very much parroting. But then over time, you say, is it a pencil? Is it a pencil? Is it a pencil? And you can kind of mix up the words a little bit. So they have a couple of quick seconds to think and change the response. If they don't, then we just feed it to them. But what you'll find is over time that people become so conditioned that they're able to just respond before you have to prompt them or feed that language to them. Now, whether that is learning or just kind of like conditioning to questions, I think that's kind of still up in the air. But I found that if you are changing the questions slightly and mixing and matching them up, that if there's actual cognitive, they kind of think about it. It's just kind of like that you're forcing them to do all this stuff at a speed. And additionally, one thing that with TPR is I see it very much as kind of a tool rather than a methodology for me. Especially with young kids, it's very much at the presentation, the beginning of the class with the introduction of language or engaging with new language. I use it for elicitation. What am I doing? And see what they know, what actions they know and stuff like that. Maybe they don't know what verb to use with vacuum cleaner and that sort of thing. So they might say use vacuum cleaner or play vacuum cleaner or have, what have you. And then you could kind of helps you narrow down what you need to do with structuring the words around these new words that you've done. But also I like to use it for transitions. I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't think, and this is kind of where you point out that it's not really total physical response like the methodology, but more kind of just a way to get people up, because I use it for transitions as in warmers and coolers. So, you know, like if we're doing something physical, we're singing a song, then I would do some TPR cooler, like, okay, now everyone's a snowman, it's hot, you're melting, or you're a leaf falling from the tree onto your chair, you know, to kind of cool them down. Induce relaxation, induce a slowing down, so we can move into a transition that's maybe more book focused. Or if they've been using the book too much, then, you know, I would have them be a tree that's growing really fast, or a scary monster that's tried to scare the person next to you, so it gets them
Right.
up and active. And
Yeah.
you know, it's very much energy control, because one of the things with physicality is it's very much a means to be able to, you know, inject or remove energy from a class. And I find that to be very important. And I would actually like to see more TPR with adults, because they enjoy it so much.
Yeah. It's nice for anyone. It's nice for anyone to get out of their seat every now and again, isn't it?
It builds down it breaks down a lot of the affective filter as well. Kind of loosens people up.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any final thoughts?
So yeah, I mean, I thought we saw some decent stuff in terms of the demoing, and I agree with the phrasal language she was using. It was nice in the context of the home. As you said, there were some lessons before this which surrounded this lesson. So we have kind of an introduction to vocabulary around the home, and then we have these verbs for doing actions, and then we coupled it with the TPR. And then there was some kind of interesting stuff demonstrated, especially when she was getting onto, you know, you tell him to do this, and then you tell them to stop. And, you know, I really felt like there could have been some really interesting stuff done with that if you passed it off to the students, you know. Groups of 4, and one of them is the cleaning manager, right? And they have like 9 tasks that need to be done, and you know, you have to give 3 tasks to each student in turn. So it's like, you do this, you do this, you do this, now you do, stop doing that and do this, and you know, whatever. You could come up with something, I'm sure, and it would be fun and interesting, and that vocabulary is going to stick. And obviously on the sheet that they've got, you just have pictures, you don't put the language there, so there's nothing to refer to. They're just doing it all from memory and all the rest of it. I did like that as well, actually. I like the fact that she wasn't writing stuff down. It was demonstrated verbally. I like that a lot, because a lot of pronunciation errors come from students seeing the written form first and then putting their own pronunciation version on it and not even really hearing what you're saying. It's much better for the audio to come first. So that was nice. As you say, would have benefited from a drill. So a drill would have been good. The out of place questions about who likes cleaning just didn't make any sense to me. The lack of, or not being able to see the production activity was a shame. And I think the teacher-centered practice went on way too long, but that's talking about this specific class. That's not necessarily about TPR in general.
Yeah.
And they're my thoughts.
Wonderful. So if you're out there, you're watching this, you're a big fan of TPR, you've got some videos out there, you know, we'd love to watch them, we'd love to react to them. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the video of TPR. We will be following up these methodology video as always with reacts related to them. So we've got some TPR reacts where we react to more videos of TPR with adults, but also TPR with students as well. So remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you have an update of when those actually come out. And remember to stay cool. If you're looking for more information from myself, you can go to teamteacherchina.com. We've got a whole bunch of materials, PowerPoints that you can use instantly in the classroom. We've got a Team Teacher China YouTube channel where we have videos teaching you how to use those materials. Team Teacher English, where we put those materials into a video form for self-study. And Team Teacher Baby, where I take my experience as a teacher and put that into parenting.
And go to youtube.com/Professor Rich to see some English teaching. You can catch me weekly live streams on Oxford Online English YouTube channel. Oh, and also you can do a YouTube search for POG space UK, and you would get my alpha version of my new gaming channel, which actually just have some trial content on there at the moment. You can email us here at eltunderthecovers@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to contribute to the show.
Smash that like button, share and subscribe.
And watch 100% of the video and don't click
Exactly.
off. Thank you.
Bye.